And let's turn now to one of our newsmakers of the week, Sharmistha Mukherjee, former congressperson, daughter of Pranab Mukherjee, the former president of India, who's just written a book, Pranab My Father, A Daughter Remembers, which has led to a certain amount of a ruckus. And Sharmistha Mukherjee now joins us on the India story. Sharmistha, thank you so much for being with us. As I said, a certain amount of ruckus after excerpts of your book came out, specifically from the Congress party. About some of the remarks that you mentioned, you say, for example, that your father made some remarks about Rahul Gandhi, about him being immature and the like. How do you respond to all of those controversies that are broken out?
Well, I wouldn't like to respond to it in the sense I believe in freedom of expression, and I do also believe that the Congress party, the Congress ideology upholds the freedom of expression. So the way I have said certain things, and my father has said some certain things, written certain things in his diary, and I have stated that I have a right to do so. And how people react to it, they also have the right to react in whatever way they want to. So that is their right. I mean, why should I comment on that?
Well, Sharmistha, we've heard a lot of Congress people saying that, of course, your father had such a distinguished career, rising all the way to be the president. They said he was always close to the party. He gave a lot to the Congress party, but also that the Congress party gave a lot back to him. Those have been some of the reactions that we've been hearing from the Congress.
Well, of course, my father was a product of Congress, but also, he gave his life to Congress. So it is a both-way interaction. It is a give and take. And, this is a very common practice I have seen in Congress while I was within the party, or even now outside, though I'm still a primary member of Congress and I believe in Congress ideology, that, anybody, quitting Congress, leaving Congress, or making some criticism of the even remaining, immediately they just, the Congress trolls, the Congress social media, and in some cases, for example, in Ghulam Nabi Azad ji, who's a very senior stalwart leader of Congress, some people just jump at him that, they have got so much from the party, which is very true. But Congress is also not just one particular family. Every leader, every worker has contributed to its growth. And senior leaders, they have devoted their entire life to Congress. So it is not just domain of, and also criticism of one particular individual should not be, be taken as equivalent to criticizing the party. The party is much greater than any individual or than any family. So that is something, I think it like that. And as your earlier question, what you were saying, it's perhaps also a response to that. My father, as I say, he was a product of Congress. He is a die-hard congressman who believed in Congress ideology until the very last, till his last breath, till the last day. And he has seen various ups and downs of the party, starting from his days of Mrs. Indira Gandhi. He was a part of it when the party split, when within the Congress party, how Indira Gandhi was totally marginalized within CWC, how leaders who once said Indira is India, how they started decrying her and, deposed against her during the Shah Commission, then how the party was split, then how Indira Gandhi fought back and, came with the glorious return. So he was all part of this.
Well, Sharmistha ji, the other thing, of course, as you're saying, is a congressman till the day he became the president. But in the last few years of his life, he also seemed to have had a very close, interesting relationship with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Almost a sort of a very close bond between the two of them seemed to have emerged. Did you also get that feeling in your own conversations with him? Some of that is reflected in the book as well.
Yes, definitely. But before coming to that, I would like to point out that my father also had very close relationships throughout his political life from, not just political, even personal, very good personal relationships from leaders, senior leaders from left like Jyoti Basu to the right like Arun Jaitley, L.K. Advani. They were, my father would always say that in politics, there are opponents, there are not enemies. So, he had this tremendous good relationship with people across party line, and that's why he was known as a consensus generator. When he became the president, and when after 2 years, when Mr. Modi, from a very different political ideological background, became the prime minister, one of the reason, I think, of course, the goodwill my father already had developed over the course of 5 decades of being in politics across political party line. Secondly, also the reason that my father was a copybook president. He was very clear about the constitutional role and the limitation of the president. And thirdly, there was, of course, this tremendous personal chemistry between the two leaders.
Right.
So which was there, which I have also witnessed, and I have also written about in the book.
Well, of course, the achievements are always very well known, much talked about also there in the book. But I'm curious, in your personal conversations with Pranab, were there any aspects of his career or his life that, he looked back and said, I could have done that differently, maybe it was a mistake, maybe I shouldn't have done this? I mean, I don't know, retrospective tax, for example, or something else, which he feels he could have done things differently.
About retrospective taxation, I did not venture to even get into that because I don't understand anything about economics. And, my father, if you have ever interacted with him, I mean, he would get very irritated if you go to him without doing proper homework. For example, once in the parliament, the opposition was creating a ruckus, and he said that, behave like mature leaders, don't behave like juvenile kids or something like that. And then, he apologized to them.
All right, Sharmistha Mukherjee, thank you so much for joining us on that new book.